So one of the tools we get to use to load samples into this, remember this is our little gel we made, there's a little Agarose gel in here now, is we get to use this tool. It's called a micropipetteor. It's got a little plunger that goes up and down, it's got a little window with numbers, and it comes all the way out. It has a little tip, and if you look at the end, the tip has a little hole in it because you can push air in and out of it. And if you look over on page 69, it'll tell you that we're going to be loading samples supposedly from our crime scene, from the victim, from suspect 1 and 2, and this is the crime scene sample. So we're trying to match this sample we got from the crime scene to these other 3 individuals who we have apparently genetic DNA stuff from. So the way we do that is we pull the liquid that's in these tubes out using a micropipetteor, and for each one of these we are going to load, I'm trying to remember what does it say? It doesn't, I can't even find what it says. I think it's supposed to be like maybe 15 microliters. Yeah, that's right. So if you go to page 69 and go down to letter E, it says 15 microliters. So there's a little turning knob here that allows me to change the volume. If I do to 150, that's 15. And the way it works is I have to put a tip. That's what these little critters here are in this box. I have to put a tip onto the end of my micropipetteor. That's what the tip looks like. It's like a little piece of plastic that just fits on the end. And the reason we do this is so that you don't contaminate the end of the actual pipetteor with the DNA from your sample. You'll notice also that what we're going to do next is you're going to push the plunger down, and when you do that, and if you push the plunger down and then stick the tip into a liquid, and you release the plunger or let it pull up, you pull up, that's like 15 microliters of liquid. And then if you push the plunger down again, you can squish it out somewhere. So it's always good, if you've never used one of these before, you can practice making little drops of liquid, because this is ultimately how we're going to suck the samples out of these tubes and load them into this gel. Okay, so I'm getting ready to load the samples, these samples, into this gel. And if you go to page 70 in your lab manual, you'll see there's this little diagram where you're supposed to figure out which sample is going to go in which well. So I'm here to tell you that we're going to load the samples in this order. We're going to do CS, which is crime scene, S1, turn these around, S2, and then V is for victim, right? So that's the order you want to list them on this page here. And what I'll probably do, because you'll see we have where every single one of these little white pegs goes into the gel, that's a well. So what I'm going to actually do is load crime scene, skip a well, S1, skip a well, S2, skip a well, victim. Okay? So this is how you take the comb out of the gel carefully. The goal being, you don't want to tear these are the little wells, and you want to make sure when you pull the comb out you don't tear those wells. And then you can set that aside. You got your pipetteor. You're going to remember you want it set to 15 microliters. Put a new tip. Here's my tip box over here. I'm going to put a new tip on. Open up my little tube. I push down on the plunger, get out 15 micro, ooh, that's thick. Why does it keep doing that? Hold on. Let me get there. No, I'm not. Not today. Ooh, there's something fun on this one. Hold on a second. Finally figured out what the problem is. Okay, 15 microliters. I move the tube up to tell myself that I'm doing that one. And then if I can see my little well, I'm actually going to turn it this way. I'm going to use my one hand to help guide the tip of the pipetteor in there. And it almost looks like I didn't do anything, but now you can see that well's a darker color. So that tells me I got it in. And this tip I need to get rid of and get a new one because I don't want to cross-contaminate the DNA from this sample into this sample. So you get a new tip every time. Next up is S1. And remember I said I'm going to skip a well, so I'm going to put it in right here. Another new tip. Skip a well. And then the last sample is this one. Your victim. Can't remember, was it a cheerleader who died? Somebody died. I know, 1, 2, 3, and then this is 4. And that is how you load your samples. Next up, we're going to put this into the gel rig. So this is the gel electrophoresis box, and the first thing I'm going to do is actually pour some buffer that the gel will sit into the box. I'm pouring about that much to start. In your lab manual, it tells you to pour in some very precise amount. That's not really the way it works in the real world. Next up, I'm going to really carefully remove these rubber stoppers. Oh, I remember, there's a little trick I have to make sure the rubber stoppers come off and don't tear. So I use the end of a tip and I score along the edge of my gel to make sure it doesn't stick to the rubber stopper. That way when I go to pull it off, you can see it doesn't tear my wells open. And then I want to make sure the well side of my gel is nearest to the black end, which is going to be the one with the negative current. You put the little gel tray in. There's a little notch here on the side of the gel rig that tells me to lock the tray in place. And I can already tell I have to pour a little more buffer in because you have to make sure the buffer completely covers the top of the gel. You can see a little bit of my sample floated out. That's okay. No worries. And then the next thing I do is I put this lid that has 2 electrodes on the top of the gel rig. And you can see there are cords here on the opposite end, and these cords are going to get plugged in. Hold on while I make you fly away. The cords are going to get plugged into this. This is my power supply box. So I'm going to plug these in here. I'm going to turn this on and let it run at the I think it's like the amperage for like 20 minutes, and I'll have a little video of what that looks like running. And the video you will see though will be of the samples in the gel box going.